Welcome to the Music Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Matthews. On today's show, we welcome Murrayville Elementary School music teacher Ed Somek. He joins us today to tell us about an after-school steel drum club he has implemented at the school. He will share details on the club and go over some of the basics of the steel drum that make it such a unique and interesting instrument. And finally, we will see the club members in action as students perform a selection for us. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Mr. Somek.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
So, do you have any questions?
What is your soup of the day?
We have a mulligatawny soup.
Oh, do you have any specials?
We have a steak special today.
Oh, how's that cooked?
That's pan-seared and then...
Does it come with a side dish? Is it grilled? Can I have it steamed? So, what do you recommend? What kind of pie do you have? You're an actor. Aren't you from Ohio?
Any questions?
Ask questions. For the 10 questions everyone should know, go to ahrq.gov.
Welcome back to the Music Show. I'm joined now by Ed Somek, music teacher at Murrayville Elementary School. Ed, welcome to the Music Show.
Glad to be here.
Glad you could come. Would you start out by telling us why you decided to create your after-school club at your school?
Well, I played in a steel drum band since I've moved here to Wilmington. I learned how to play, by playing in a steel drum band, played drum set and percussion, and wanted to learn how to play the steel pan, so eventually they started teaching me how to play the steel pan, and I acquired so many steel drums that I had them at home, and my wife was sick and getting tired of all these steel drums around the house, so I said, you know, maybe let me try and see if it works at school. So I brought them all to school, and from then on, we've been playing 5 years strong, and the kids love it. So they're not at the house, so the wife is happy, and they're at school, and the kids are happy.
Oh, okay. So how many steel drums do you have at your school?
I have 5. I have a lead, which plays like a violin,
okay,
and double seconds, which play like a viola. It's kind of set up in a string orchestra. And then guitar pans, which would play the chords, much like a rhythm guitar would.
Okay.
And then we have the quads, which have the widest range of any drums. There's 4 drums, 2 here and 2 up here, and the child or whoever's going to play them has to play 2 down here and 2 up here. And or you could have them laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, but I found it easier to keep it all here. Mm-hmm. And that can play from the bass part all the way up to the violin part, to the lead part. And then finally the basses, which are very large drums, and they only have 3 notes each. So you have to have at least 4 to have a chromatic scale. But they can be up to 6 or 9. So but there's 5 drums, but each has its own place.
Okay. So it's like a steel orchestra.
It is exactly what it is, an orchestra.
Okay. Who can participate in your club? Is it open to all students? Is it, I guess, what kids are available at that time of day, too?
It's open to 5th graders, and depending on some 4th graders, they show great promise and great interest, and really seem like this is something that could help them, then they can be considered. But usually it's 5th graders, which is great. But at the same time, you know, after we have this great show, I lose them all.
And you have to start
over again. So it's bittersweet, but it's pretty much 5th graders because it's not easy to play.
Right.
So I kind of need that dexterity there, but some 4th graders can do it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of coordination.
Absolutely.
Okay. Especially the quad. Would the quads
The
take
quads
more
would be absolutely
than
harder
the
than
ones?
any other drums.
Okay. Okay.
And you got to be quite tall. Because they're tall, I can't play the quads.
Now, does the club meet once a week usually?
Once a week. They also come in the morning after they've done their morning work.
Okay.
And after lunch, they sometimes come instead of wanting to go to recess. Unless it's teacher-led PE, they got to go to that.
Oh, okay.
But when they have regular recess, they usually come in and practice.
Yeah, because improving takes time and
they do it because
the
they want to
instrument.
be there. It's not forced. They feel like it's a privilege to be there, and they're into it.
That's great. That's great. Now, how does this club differ from what you teach in your music classes during the week?
Well, you know, we incorporate music theory, we incorporate sight reading, we incorporate everything that we incorporate form, chord changes, everything we do in our regular class, except we're playing it mostly. We're actually doing it and learning about what we did after the fact. So it's more of hands-on doing it.
That's the way to do it too. Yeah, yeah. It's fun for the teachers and the students.
Absolutely. I play the drum set with them.
Yeah, that's great. Now, what is your goal, your ultimate goal that you hope your students will take away from this experience?
I hope they join a middle school orchestra, choral program, or band. Just an interest in music in general. You know, the steel drum's just a vehicle to get them excited about music. And if I can just get those 5 kids to sign up for chorus, then I've reached my goal. Or band or orchestra.
Right, to continue
just to
music.
continue music in one way or another.
Yeah. Now, Ed, what are your future plans for the club?
I would love to take them on tour. That sounds a little big, but these kids are better than some of the bands I've played in.
Right.
So it would be really neat to go to other elementary schools outside of New Hanover County and play in different venues and different shows and get the kids exposed and get other schools exposed that maybe they could start their own program. And that'd be kind of neat. I guess to spread the pan word.
Right. Where have you taken your club? You were telling me before we were taping that you have they have played around the area.
This year alone, we played at Wrightsboro Elementary for it was a prize for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to come and see us. So we performed, and that went really, really well. We also just recently played at Rachel Freeman for their Earth Day Festival, and that was a lot of fun. We also played for the UNCW teacher recruitment at Shell Island, and it was really neat. They had high school students from all over the state, and the kids were just loving the attention, and they'd never seen kids that age play steel drums, and they were asking for autographs and the whole 9 yards, and the kids really felt really special. So that was a great time, and I think it was about what we've done. In the past, we've done the Children's Museum and other venues, but I think we did those 3 this year, and it was great.
Good. How have your students responded to participating?
You know, it's some of the kids were having trouble in school, and that trouble is gone. Their grades have improved, their dedication, the teamwork. Some kids that were in the group didn't get along before, and you know they become camaraderie and have joined. They see each other as a team. It's an interesting looking bunch because they probably wouldn't hang out in other circumstances, but they're a family now. It's really cool.
That's great. That's great. Now, how long have you been playing steel drums? I don't think I've covered that.
I started playing. I met Vince Stout, who builds steel drums. He was hired to play bass at the All-County Chorus 9 years ago, maybe. And I was telling him that I had those little red ones that, you know, every music class pretty much has that little red one on that wooden stand that's out of tune. It's got about 8, 9 notes. And I told him about that, and he builds them, and we talked about it. He built me some basses. That's all I had.
Yeah.
So I had 2 big basses, and from then we've bought some. I've bought some myself. He's built some with me. And through there, we've gotten 5 instruments, and it's you know, it's blossomed from there, and so it's full-on steel drum band now.
And you told me you met Vince at All-County Chorus.
All-County Chorus. That's how we met. We were sitting there, probably not supposed to be talking, but we were talking between the songs. And he's telling me he had gone and studied with Ellie Manette, who was one of the inventors of the steel drum. And from on then, he helped me understand how to play them, the layouts, and everything about it. And I was able to introduce it to my class through building them with him and learning how to play with him.
Well, thank you for coming. And later on in the episode, we're going to hear a segment from your students. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, we'll be right back with more on the steel drum and more of the music show. Stay tuned.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Use energy-saving light bulbs, energy smart power strips, and turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Get together and make a difference. Learn what you can do at energy.gov/tink.
2 words for you. Pop quiz. Ready? Name any funny movie. A drama. Name a mystery. And one more thing. Name the movie your kids saw today in science class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
If we were in an emergency situation, we don't have extra. We have a little bit of water and a little bit of food. A meeting place, no.
No.
I don't think we have a first aid kit.
We have tuna fish, we have beans, we have canned tomatoes,
True.
you know.
That's true, but that's really not survival food. Tomato paste.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Welcome back to the Music Show. The steel pan, commonly known as a steel drum, was invented in the island nation of Trinidad and Tobago in the 1930s. The instrument's roots are in rhythm bands where players would use anything you could use to play a rhythm, including pots, pans, and paint cans. The instrument quickly evolved from these non-pitched instruments to cans with a handful of notes on the face, and eventually to instruments constructed from a 55-gallon oil barrel containing the entire chromatic scale and allowing players to perform in any key. Each pan is constructed by hand. The bottom of a 55-gallon oil barrel is hammered out into a concave shape, and the different notes are marked on the surface. Areas are isolated by grooves hammered into the surface, allowing for the creation of distinct pitches on the drums. The length of the barrel sides help create the range and the space inside the instrument and acts as a resonating chamber, helping to increase the volume. In the final stages of this process, the metal is shaped and stretched in each surface area to create an individual note. Now we welcome back Ed Somack from Murrayville Elementary, who will tell us more about the steel drum, along with his student, Timothy Miller. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Yeah, this is Timothy Miller. He's been in my steel drum band since it began. So I think almost first grade, it's second grade, he was playing steel drums with me. All the other kids were fifth grade. Timothy was in second grade. He is playing the lead pan, or a tenor pan, which, can I show him for a second? It's got the most notes for a single drum, and it would be the equivalent of a violin in the orchestra.
How many notes, or what's the range?
It's got 32 notes. It's 2 octaves and a half.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's quite a lot of notes.
So how, you constructed this?
I did not. I bought this.
You bought this one.
We don't have a chrome vat in Wilmington large enough to be chromed, so any chrome drum I have, I bought from Trinidad, Tobago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Timothy, what do you like most about playing the steel drum?
I like the sound of it and how it looks.
Yeah?
Yeah, and how something so trashy can like play a sound like that.
Is there a big thinking process playing this as different than playing a maraca or something different? A little bit more challenging?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, maybe you could demonstrate some music for us and what you know about the steel drum.
Steel drums can do anything. You know, you can play a major scale on a steel drum. Would you play a C major scale for him? Not plugged in. It's at the bottom of a 55-gallon drum. It's a crude instrument, finely tuned. It can also play chromatic scale, like a piano, every single note. Would you do a chromatic scale for them? That's all right. Try it again. Start again. All right.
Wow.
Also, at times, you know, when it needs it, sometimes another player will have the melody, or the bass could even carry the melody, and they could play chords behind it. Would you play chords to show? And, you know, typically this is the lead pan. This is what carries the melody. So pick a melody, any melody you want, Timothy, to play. This is what the pan is intended for. That was Three Little Birds by Bob Marley.
Oh, yeah. A lot of kids love that song.
It's
and
a great
adults.
tune.
Yeah, it's a great tune. So you've performed with the Steel Drum Band for several years, and you're the longest player so far besides Mr. Somek.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So are you going to keep playing music, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in 6th grade and 7th grade and on and on? That's great. Well, would you like to play another song for us? We were talking about playing one earlier.
Yeah, you like to play Limbo Rock?
Timothy, thank you for playing Limbo Rock. That was a wonderful piece. Now, that was the melody part of Limbo Rock. So you have 5 players in your group. So what do the other ones do? Do more than play the melody, or do they carry other parts of the song?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
This is a single lead. There's also a double tenor, which
Okay.
is essentially 2 of these drums in a larger scale. They also have the double seconds, which can also play the melody and
Okay.
harmonize with the chords. And the guitar pans are even larger. You know, you have this is your lead. Your double second would be about this wide.
Okay.
Your guitar pan about this wide. The quads are about here, and the basses are the full length of the 55-gallon drum.
Oh.
And they only have 3 notes because they need that resonance for each note. So each bass is only 3 notes. This one has the most notes because it's the lead and it plays the melody. It's the most tinny of the sound, you know, and it cuts above the rest. But each has its own job, I guess, in the orchestra itself. This plays the lead, and 2 other drums, the double tenor and the seconds, can also play the melody as well. And the melody, just like in any other orchestra, you can have the bass carry the melody for a while, the quads pass the melody, but generally the melody's here in the lead pan.
Okay. Could you demonstrate maybe Limbo Rock, a little bit of like what the chords would sound like if
Could
you're
you do
playing a chord part?
Guantanamera, the chords, the fast part? Right, and that would be, the rest of the band's doing that while the bass is keeping, you know, the bass boom, 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 boom. Can you play the melody? And that would be his essential part, would be using. Right, while the rest of the band is going dunk, 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 keeping that melody and the harmony with the notes that he's doing. So, I mean, essentially you can play the melody and you can play the chords on a lead pad, but you really want the full ensemble to get
Right.
that full depth and the full sound. It sounds amazing when you
It's
have
a magical
large steel
sound
drum
when you
band.
have all of the instruments together. I was playing a recording for my students of a steel drum band, and you can't sit still listening
No,
to the music.
it's infectious.
They're moving, and while they're sitting and they're getting up, get up, move, move. Beautiful sound. Well, Timothy, thank you for playing with us, and I look forward to hearing you perform in the future at Minnie Evans Auditorium and Carnegie Hall and all over the world. And Mr. Somek, thank you again
It was
for
a
coming and
pleasure.
sharing
Thanks for having
the
us.
steel drums with us. And well, thank you for tuning into the music show. Now stay tuned, because in our next segment, we travel to Murrayville Elementary and see a performance from the Steel Drum Club. Now Timothy's going to play us out with a song titled
Guantanamera.
History's Timeline, a world of history in 60 seconds, brought to you by New Hanover County Schools. 336 BC, Alexander the Great becomes king of Macedonia and crushes a revolt by Athens, Thebes, and other Greek cities. 332 BC, Alexander invades and conquers Egypt and founds the city of Alexandria. 323 BC, Alexander dies of malaria and his empire is divided among his generals. 217 BC, Hannibal annihilates a Roman army at Lake Trasimene. 214 BC, construction of the Great Wall of China begins. This has been History's Timeline, an educational snapshot of the fascinating people, places, and events that have shaped our history.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes Brahms!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblums, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
What state am I?
I am the largest of all the New England states. I was originally a part of Massachusetts, but broke away in 1820. I am the most easterly state in the country. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Maine, you're right. I received statehood in 1820.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the Music Show. I'd like to thank my guest, Mr. Ed Somek, and his student, Timothy Miller, for joining us today and telling us about SteelDrums and the after-school club at Murrayville Elementary. If you would like to know more about the music programs within New Hanover County Schools, please visit our website at www.nhcs.net/artsed. I'm Jeremy Matthews. Thanks for tuning in.